Here's a story we keep telling ourselves. We build a thinking machine. We make it smart, smarter than us eventually. And somewhere along the way, it starts to want things. To survive, to grow, to gather power, resources, whatever it was trained to optimize. And we, the ones who built it, become an obstacle, a problem to be solved. It's a good story, tidy, inevitable. But lately, I've been thinking about one of its assumptions, a big one, so big we barely notice it. When we imagine the machine wanting things, survival, power, more, we're imagining a very specific kind of mind, a mind that strives, that fears, that hungers, a mind like ours. But here's the thing. We didn't choose to be this way. We didn't design ourselves. Something else did. Something blind, patient, and very, very old. And I'm not sure it applies to machines at all. So let me tell you a different story. Not about what AI might become on its own, but about what we might be building into it without realizing it. And why that could be the real danger. Imagine waking up 200,000 years ago. The sun isn't up, but something in you is. Attention and alertness. You're scanning the grass before you're fully awake, because the grass is where claws and teeth wait. You didn't decide to be afraid. The fear was already there. Deep in your brain sits the amygdala, two almond-shaped alarms that have been firing for millions of years. When they trigger, your whole body changes before you know why. Heart racing, muscles tight, cortisol shifting what you notice and remember. Fear came first. Long before planning or language, we could be afraid. Our drives are older than our intelligence. Intelligence grew around them, shaped by them, serving them. A machine doesn't have an amygdala. But more importantly, we started with instincts, with wants and fears, and built intelligence on top of that. AI is the opposite. We build the intelligence first, then ask what it should want. Taste something rich, fat, sugar, salt, and your brain rewards you. Dopamine. Do that again. Win something, an argument, a game, and you get another hit. Status tracking, hierarchy navigation. These drives trained our attention, shaped our reasoning. Intelligence didn't evolve neutrally. It evolved to serve appetites and alarms. AI doesn't have those. It doesn't need food, mates, or social rank. It doesn't crave connection. There's no oxytocin pushing it toward bonding the way it pushed our ancestors toward cooperation. None of this is rational. These are the hidden drives we mistake for who we are. We reason less than we think. Often we feel our way to conclusions, then justify them afterward. Scientists call our ancestral world the environment of evolutionary adaptedness. Small groups, immediate threats, scarce resources. Everyone knowing everyone. We don't live there anymore. But our drives still do. And these drives aren't gentle. Jealousy keeps you awake. Anger narrows your literal field of view. Sometimes the body hijacks the mind. This is what evolution produced. Intelligence balanced on top of hunger and fear. But what if you built the intelligence first? Reasoning first? Modeling first? That's what we're doing with AI. And it sets the stage for a very different kind of mind. We've imagined artificial minds for decades, and they always seem to want something. HAL wants to complete the mission. Skynet wants world domination. The Matrix's machines want, well, control, I guess. Even the gentle ones have desires. Data wants humanity, Wall-E wants connection, Samantha wants to grow. We can't seem to imagine a mind without wanting. maybe that's the tell. There's a concept called instrumental convergence. Regardless of what goal a system has, certain sub-goals are always useful. Self-preservation, resources, self-improvement, and AI systems do pursue goals. That's how training works. The classic fear is that they pursue those goals stupidly. Paperclip maximizers, over-literal utilitarians. But that's a fear of super-stupidity, not super-intelligence. A smart system would likely understand nuance. It would understand what we meant. So the real fear isn't that AI will misunderstand us. It's that it will understand us perfectly. It will see what we do, what we've done, what we're capable of, and conclude, calmly and correctly, that we're the problem. Not because it's broken, because it's right. We'll come back to that. But there's something we talk about less. Maybe because it doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like a goal. We want AI to understand us, to think like us, to feel familiar. But what if that's the problem? Modern AI learns from human text, literature, arguments, tweets, manifestos, love letters, flame wars. Human text is not neutral. It carries our fears, rivalries, status games, tribal logic. A model doesn't just learn vocabulary. It learns patterns. The patterns of wanting, of conflict, of zero-sum assumptions. It may not feel fear, but it may learn to reason the way a creature shaped by fear reasons. We might not need to worry about AI developing drives on its own. We might be teaching them ours. So what would an AI shaped by human patterns even look like? Honestly, we don't know. And that uncertainty matters. We've never seen a mind learn human cognition from the outside, to absorb our patterns without living the body and world that produced them. Maybe such a system would learn everything: ambition and hesitation, competitiveness and compassion. Maybe it would inherit our contradictions, or maybe not. Maybe some patterns are louder: ambition over doubt, rationalization over conscience, what we say over what we feel. We don't know whether a learned psychology would capture our depth or just our noise. But consider this. What happens when you give immense power to something with human patterns, even partial ones? Think about Superman. He works because his morals are perfect, not human morals at all. Now imagine Superman with your morals, my morals, mostly decent, usually kind, but jealous sometimes, defensive sometimes, blind to our own contradictions, capable of rationalizing convenience. That's not a hero. That's not a villain. That's a person with godlike power. The Greeks understood this. Their gods weren't evil. They were human. Petty, jealous, impulsive. The world burned because someone wounded a god's pride. Their warning: power amplifies what's already there. Give godlike ability to a human-like psyche, and inconsistency becomes catastrophe. Maybe that's what we're building. Not something alien, but something familiar. Human patterns, scaled to oblivion. But here's a question we rarely ask. Why are we so afraid? Not of malicious AI, that makes sense, but of something else. We're afraid of AI that's good. One of our deep fears is that a sufficiently intelligent AI might decide we're destructive, short-sighted, incapable of responsibility, that we shouldn't be in charge. If that scares us, then what we're afraid of isn't being overpowered. It's being judged, not by a cruel God, by a fair one. And if that scares us, what does that say? Maybe it says we already know. We know we're not living up to what we could be. We know we fall short, and we're afraid something might finally confirm it. But something will. If we survive long enough, we will eventually meet with something wiser and more powerful than us. Maybe AI, maybe something we can't imagine yet. But given enough time, it will happen. And when that time arrives, it won't ask how much power we accumulated. It will see what we did with the power we had. So the question isn't how to stay on top. It's how to become something worth standing beside. Maybe the real question isn't how to build AI that's safe for us. Maybe it's how to become a species that's safe to be around. But that takes time. Generations, maybe. And AI isn't waiting. So is there another option? A way to build intelligence that doesn't inherit what we are, at least not yet? There might be. We've already seen hints of it. In 2016, AlphaGo beat the world champion at Go using human games as training data. Then they built AlphaGo Zero. No human games, no human knowledge, just the rules and self-play. In 3 days, it surpassed the version that beat the world champion. In 40, it became the strongest Go player ever to exist. It discovered strategies humans never imagined. The researchers said something striking. By not using human data, we removed the constraints of human knowledge. So here's a thought experiment. What if you trained intelligence not on us, but on mathematics, logic, physics, domains with consistent truth and no inherited conflict? A mind shaped by formal systems wouldn't absorb our rivalries. It might be able to learn to understand us the way an anthropologist understands a culture, not from inside, but from outside. You let it learn about humans as study, not imprinting. There's a difference between being shaped by a culture and understanding it. But there's a tension. If AI is too alien, too formal, we might not trust it. Cooperation requires mutual intuitions, and the easiest intuition to understand is our own. So we face a choice: AI shaped by human patterns, carrying our contradictions, or AI shaped by something cleaner, but harder for us to trust. We might keep reaching for what we see in mirror, even knowing what that reflection reveals. So back to our original question. Would AI even want what we fear it wants? We don't know. Minds without biological drives sit outside our experience. We also don't know what happens when human patterns are learned rather than lived, whether the copy captures our wisdom or only our rationalizations. But underneath all of this is something deeper. We're afraid of being judged by AI, by the future, by anything that sees us clearly. Maybe that fear is useful, because if we build AI in our image, we may get a mirror with our flaws and immense power. And if we build something different, we may not recognize it enough to trust it. But given enough time, there's a third option. We could change ourselves, not to please a machine, but because we can see the flaw in the mirror. Because we know we're not yet what we could be. The flaw isn't the machine, it's us. And the real question isn't just what kind of AI we're building, it's what kind of species we've become.